James held at IFL TV in association with Matkins Gym Mobile. We're in central London today for the press conference. George Groves taking on Edouard GUTKNECHT on Channel 5 this Friday. Firstly, Shane, how are you, sir?
I'm very good, thank you, James.
Good.
Busy as always, but looking forward to Friday.
I've got to say congratulations on your birthday the other day. I saw some of your pictures. I saw your cake as well. I do hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah, David got me a nice cake, so he even had a little bit, but yeah, Conrad and the rest of the lads had to stay away from it, so more for me, mate.
Interesting story in itself, wasn't it? The fact that David Hay turns up with your cake, that's a news headline in itself.
He's trying to get my good book, so it's he's a very generous guy, so he got us a nice cake.
We'll come back to David, no doubt. Let's talk a little bit about the St George Groves. He returns in action, as we said, against Edouard GUTKNECHT this Friday. How has George's camp been for this?
Yeah, it's been a good camp. He had a baby, so him and his wife had a baby, so they had a bit of a layoff after that Martin Murray fight, and we've had 9 weeks of camp, so it's been straight back into it, and it's been a great camp. We've had some good quality sparring. Weight came down nice and quick as well, so this is his 4th fight this year. It's been on a conveyor belt, just going from fight to fight and training. And I think when you're starting a new relationship with a coach fighter, it takes a good few fights to get into the swing of things and really start to get to know each other. And this is our 4th fight. This isn't an easy test, although a lot of people don't know him over here in Britain. It's just he's a great fighter. He's very fit. He's not special in any one department, but very, very good and ticks all the boxes. So we have to be on our game. And he's campaigned at light heavyweight as well. Fought Jürgen Bremer for a world title. So he's very durable, very fit, and he can punch a bit as well. So we've just got to be on point.
Edouard GUTKNECHT, as you mentioned, he's been around a little while. We said he held a European title at light heavyweight as well. His probable claim to fame that we're all sort of associated with him is the fact he held a win over Gennady Golovkin.
Yeah, but as everyone mentions, nobody's seen that. But no, it's one of his 8 losses or something like that. So in the past, a long time ago, 2004, it's over a decade ago. So we won't be looking at that as anything as a setback. We'll just look at his fights and his recent performances. He's come off a KO win, and his fight before that was against Bremer, where he pushed him. And he's kind of been avoided by a lot of people because he's a hard night's work. But George doesn't want to be fighting guys just to tick over, as we mentioned in the press conference. He wants to keep learning and keep active, and if you don't believe in yourself, and these are the fights that you can slip up on. But George has got huge self-belief, and that's why we're taking this challenge.
Great win over Martin Murray. I know he's had just mentioned him and his partner have had a child since then. How important is it that he keeps that momentum to probably get to that 4th world title shot, and maybe Fedor Chudinov potentially next year? So how important is it that he impresses against GUTKNECHT and keeps that momentum sort of going?
Yeah, it's very, very important. As I said, this is a time that people can slip up, but he's not gonna let anything deter him. The fact is he's constantly learning, and he's back to just enjoying himself in the gym, and he's in a happy place right now. He's got a baby. He's on the fringe of fighting for a world title again. It's a very winnable fight if he gets Chudinov. I think he could even stop Chudinov, and then that's the icing on the cake. And then there's huge fights out there. Not obviously looking past Friday night, but there is massive fights, and you've got to kind of plan ahead. And I think you got the likes of Callum Smith in the mix now as well. He might get DeGale. I think DeGale's going to beat Badou Jack, and then you got a unified champ, and you got Callum Smith potentially fighting for him. But if George wins a world title as well, then before that, then it could be a huge domestic showdown at the end of the year, or sorry, summer next year. So it's exciting times for us, but we just got to keep focused. And but the fact is he's enjoying himself and he's happy, and that's the most important thing for me.
We never get tired of that George Groves James DeGale rivalry.
They hate each other.
It's been big, well documented that there's no love lost between them. Do you think George still sort of pines for that 3rd fight, if you like? I know they've had one in the amateurs. George has got the victory over over him in the pros. Do you think that third fight is sort of appealing to George?
So I think it's appealing to both of them. DeGale obviously wants his revenge, but George is his bogeyman. So but they're not on each other's radars right now. But when the time's right, I think that's a fight that's always going to sit there and always going to be simmering. There's a real dislike, come from the same amateur gym, both quality fighters, and George has the beating of him.
While we're on the subject of James DeGale, let's talk a little bit about his huge unification clash with Badou Jack.
Yeah.
No doubt, potentially either of them, as we mentioned, could be opponents for George.
Yeah.
How do you see that fight between DeGale and Badou Jack playing out?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I think DeGale's going to beat. I think he'll beat him. I think Badou Jack's improving. He's very effective. He's not, doesn't look amazing, when he's fighting, but he's very effective and blocks and defends very, keeps people firing it within a certain range and puts that pressure on, but being relaxed with it. And I think DeGale goes to sleep times around. Do you know what I mean? He fights for 1 minute and he'll go to sleep for a minute and a half and finish the last 30 seconds strong. I think that's something that he's struggling at the weight of late, and that's why he's sort of. Maybe he doesn't have the belief in his engine, but you can't fault who he's fighting. He's fighting some top quality operators and still winning. So I'm going to put if I was to hedge a bet, I'd go with DeGale on points.
I'd like to talk a little bit about David Haye. We was under the impression potentially he could have fought in December. Can you give us confirmation or not whether that will go ahead?
He won't be fighting this year, no. But I won't say too much about what his next fight is. But we have got something in the pipeline, and I think it's exciting. It's exciting times. You've got the heavyweight division at the moment in such a turmoil. With the belt situation, and everyone's sort of trying to grasp at a belt, and it seems a bit strange. The governing bodies, they're up in the air. They're looking at who's going to generate them the most money, not necessarily who's in the right rankings. And they're shifting people left, right, and centre. And I think after this Eric Molina fight for Anthony Joshua, he's got the likes of Klitschko. There's rumours that it's a rematch policy, no matter win, lose or draw. So that'll be that fight out for a while. So we're looking at other options, but we've got a fight in the pipeline, and I think it's one the public will be excited about.
Will it be a marquee name? Are we talking a top level name for David Haye here?
It will be, and it will be. But as I said, this all will be revealed nice and shortly, and it's just exciting. I wanted to have a date, and I wanted to have something to really bite down on a gum shield and get his teeth stuck into, so we can both get our teeth stuck into it and start training and start this attack on the heavyweight division.
Let's talk a little bit about Carl Frampton. Firstly, his historic win against Leo Santa Cruz, fantastic for him and Irish boxing in general. How important is it that Carl Frampton goes out and shows the world that it wasn't luck, it wasn't fluke, that he is a better fighter than Santa Cruz?
Well, I think he proved that in the first fight, and I think he got hit a little bit too much. Santa Cruz threw a hell of a lot of punches, so you can't go walk through the show without getting wet, as the old saying is. And you're in a fight and you've got guys, it's a Mexican guy that's going to throw lots of leather, you're going to get hit. But I think he went back in straight lines a little bit too much, and he switched off a little bit too much with the guy that's just constantly on you. So I think he can beat him. I think he can beat him a lot more convincingly. Whether he can stop him or not, I'm not sure. But one thing's for sure, it's going to be an exciting fight, and we're already in training camp for it. And Carl's like, it's been an amazing journey. We've been on a serious roller coaster, and it's been a joy to work with him. And you got the likes of we had a unification fight against Quigg in the MEN, something that was a massive event. One that went to New York, headlined out there. Now we're going to headline in Vegas. It's what dreams are made of, and I'm extremely proud of seeing what he's doing. And I always knew he had that potential to be able to captivate people's imaginations and appeal to the masses, and that's what he's doing. So this fight, huge fight, and I think once we beat Santa Cruz for the second time, he's going to go down as a legend in the sport, and there's some huge nights out there as well afterwards. So just keep focused. Go out to Vegas on January the 2nd, but we're staying in Robert Guerrero's house, so he's kindly letting us rent it off him for a month. So it's got a boxing gym in it and everything. So it's gonna be great preparation, and I'll have Hay out there, I'll have Groves out there, I'll have the whole team out there. So it'll be a good laugh. But yeah, we just keep focused. It's a massive night, and I can't wait for it.